Hi guys, it's Ashley, known as the Distracted Stitcher here on YouTube, and I'm back for an update. It was meant to be done last Monday, however I spent that weekend not feeling great, and then when it came to filming I just had no energy. I didn't have a great amount of stitching, so I thought I would do a bi-weekly update in the hopes that I can go back to being a weekly update. If not, it will definitely be bi-weekly. It just depends on work, etc. I'm looking down, I have notes because I've done quite a bit of stitching on quite a few projects. So the last couple of weeks have been a bit manic. So at work, we've had a lot of weddings, big weddings, and now we have the proms coming up, which means that we have to do that as well. As the night shift team, we're the ones that put the furniture out, we set all of that, we're the ones that do that. So it's a lot of work, and when you get home, you're tired, and shifts are a little bit all over the place right now. So this week I'm working Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday because the guy that I work with is having his wedding party on Friday. So that means one, no stitching on Friday, and two, my shifts, I have the worst days off this week. So I'm off Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, which is not great because my days off are not together in a little group, which is what they normally are. But on the plus side, starting next week, I have 6 days off. So I'm going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have 6 days off going into the next week, and then I will work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I have 2.5 weeks off work. So in June, I will not be working very much, but it's just the way where either my rota's worked or I've taken 2 weeks annual leave for my birthday, which is right at the end of the month on the 29th. We are going away on I think the plan is, Jordan's been planning for us to go away on the 27th of June and come back on the 28th. So we're just going to go away for one night on the Thursday. So I'm not sure if I'll get any stitching done then, because obviously I want to enjoy my first birthday with Jordan, and just kind of get over the first 6 months of our relationship have been a little bit stressful. So not because of us, but because of things going on in life. So we just want to enjoy a night away and then have the 2 weeks off work together, because work has been crazy. So I have worked on 6 projects since I last saw you. I've made significant progress on a few of them. And I have got a little bit of haul, and I've made some stitchy plans for the next couple of weeks. So I'm just going to start with the projects that's got the least amount of stitching done on it, and then work my way up to the big hurrah, which is the one that I've done the most work on, and that one is actually coming up for a finish. So that's even more exciting. So the first project that I've done the least amount of work on is actually a tiny project. I bought this little Mill Hill frog at the No-Bam retreat last October. He's called My Pad, and he looks like this. I've changed where I'm sitting today because my kitchen, we're currently in the middle of redecorating the house, so we're stripping the wallpaper off the walls because some person, like the last person that lived in my house, put wallpaper in the bathroom. I don't know why anybody would put wallpaper in the bathroom, so we've been trying to take that all out and get the house painted and decorated, which is why there is marks here. It's where we've had to move the sofa, and with the sofa being bright red, it's left marks on the wall, and I cannot wait to get my new one, which is stone coloured. But the first project I worked on was My Pad. I've done like nothing, essentially. So I've done 90 stitches of one colour of green on the frog. So the plan is obviously in the next 2 weeks to get him finished. I have a whole collection of them I bought from Zarina from Hawkins Hobbies at the retreat, so I'm hoping that I can get them all finished so I can go and buy some more, because I'm going back in October this year, and I'm trying to get through. I don't have as many small ones. I think I have a butterfly, a Christmas polar bear, and the frog. I think there's something else, but I can't remember what it was. If not, I've only got the 3 left. And then I've got some of the bigger button and beads kits, which I haven't worked on my button and beads in a while. It's only got, I don't know, less than 2,000 left. So I'm hoping that I can get that stitched up. So my frog should be finished the next time I do a video. The next project I've worked on is one that I haven't shown before. I'd pulled him out because I went to see Sarah, who is Pain Free Crafts. She has a physical store, and she's 20 minutes from me. So I went to see her last week when I had an appointment, and I popped in to get a new Nurge hoop. So this is still on the stand because it's just easier to not take it off. I use a Velky Patoki, the mini travel stand. So I have 3 of these. I have a green, a yellow and a brown. You will see all 3 today. Obviously I just showed you the project. So I went to get this hoop from Sarah. This is a number 2 Nurge, which is, I didn't realise measurements are on the back. It's 165 millimeters by 145 millimeters, and it perfectly fits the 5x7, oh, the glare, petite gold collections. So obviously that's great, because that means now, I'd actually seen this on Cat Talks on her Flosstube, so she had used one of these hoops, and I thought, I've got a number 1 Nurge, which I'd originally bought to do the gold collections, but it's far too small, and then you have to move it so many times. And the more times I have to move the hoop, the more I think, I don't really want to do this project anymore. So I try to minimize my moving of my hoops on my small projects. Obviously, a lot of full coverage. I love moving the hoop because you're getting a brand new canvas every time you move. The way that I work, because I work in pages. So obviously, I don't mind moving the hoops or Q-snaps on my full coverage, but when it comes to my small projects with the back stitch, with the French knots, they've got half stitches, they've got so many different colours. I just feel like the more I move it, the more I don't want to stitch it. It kind of puts me off it a little bit. So I got this number 2 Nurge hoop, and as you can see, I don't have a before picture for this, or actually I might insert that here. And I've not done very much. There is a big dirty mark from the wooden hoop that I'd used before. So I'd been using a Nurge wooden hoop on this previously, and I'd obviously left that on too long because the hoop is now deformed because I use a screwdriver to tighten it up so much, but there is now a really big mark. So I'm hoping that once I've done this and I can wash it, then I can get that all done. So I've worked up. So I finished the piece of thread that I had on my needle here, and then I've worked up, I've stitched 3/4 of his face, and then I've started his hair and done some of these little half stitches in the background, mainly so that I can do the back stitch while I stitch. So instead of leaving all the back stitch to the end, because he has got a lot of back stitch, the plan is to do it as I go. The tension on this hoop is insane. For a plastic hoop, I was very surprised that I could get that much tension. So he looked really good. So altogether I did 186 full stitches on the samurai, so that's his face, the black down here and the black in his hair. And then I've done 158 half stitches, which I think you can just about make them out. They're basically the same colour as the fabric, and they are in the background of him. So I've just been stitching on him. I'm going to stitch on him this morning. It's currently 7:10 and it's the 3rd of June. Jordan's just left for work. I've got all of my stuff together, and I thought I'm going to film before I start stitching so I don't have to sit there and think, well, I've already worked on this today, and then try and explain, like, what have I worked on today, what have I done prior to this 2 weeks. It just was a bit, excuse me, it was a bit too much to try and figure out, so I just thought I'll just film this now and get it done. So the next project I've worked on is on the other end of the sofa. I'm not sure why I put it so far away. So I had a night from work where I couldn't sleep, and I woke up, and I think it was about 3:30. It's always the night before I go back. The night before I go back to work, I can never sleep properly. Jordan's the same. The night before I have my first night off, he can never sleep properly. Obviously Jordan works day shift. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I picked up Little Wings, which I have a picture of. This is a lavender and lace. I've been working on this for far too long. So it's going to look like this. It's a beautiful lady and her child feeding the birds, or watching the birds at least. Definitely watching them, but I think it's so stunning. And this, this is where I've got to with her. So I've been trying to stitch, I had a whole load of park threads all the way across. I've been trying to stitch them in, and I feel like I'm enjoying it more now that there's less parked threads on this than I did before, when there was just parked threads everywhere. I'm not sure why I did that, because I don't ever do that with my fancy ladies, unless it's I've moved over here and it's not going to fit on the frame and I'll just leave the thread. I did that with Snow Queen because I had some silk, and I thought, I'm not going to cut this piece of silk just to pick it back up and put in 3 stitches. It just made no sense. So this has been coming on. I did 111 stitches on this. I only stitched on it for an hour, and I filled in a lot of the green in here. So it is filling in, and hopefully the next time you see this got a bit more work done. The plan is to work on this twice a week. So when I go to work, for 2 of my shifts, I work 4 shifts a week. For 2 of them shifts, the guy that I work with, he takes me with him in the car because it makes sense. He's going that way anyway. It's a 2-minute detour from his house. So he's been taking me with him 2 nights a week, and he brings me home 2 mornings. Now, the 2 mornings that he brings me home, I get home earlier, provided. It's more a case of, because I'm not working on my own, you're not as tired, you're not as drained, you obviously can share the load, you've got somebody to talk to all night. We have a great laugh on the night shift. There is only 2 of us. There's only 2 of us in the whole building between the hours of around 11. Obviously, if there's a wedding, there is people in there until about 1 or 2 o'clock. But for the most part, it is just me and the guy that I work with, and me and him get on so well. We've been working together nearly 2 years, and we are best friends. So when I get home from work, on a general day, it's about 7:30, close to 8 o'clock. If we have a really busy weekend, last weekend we didn't get out of work until 8 a.m. I get home at 8:30. Either way, I feel I've got a bit more energy in the morning. So when I come home, the plan is to stitch on this at least 2 mornings a week and get, you know, maybe 200 stitches. And it's a finite project. All cross stitch is finite. So the plan is that this will get some work to it, and then hopefully once I've finished stitching something else, I pick this up and just work on this, because this has got no fancy thread. This is literally just DMC and a piece of 32 count sparklies called Gingerbread. And I forgot to say that the frog is being stitched completely on kit paper, so it comes with perforated paper, and I'm using everything from the kit for that. The samurai is the same thing, so it's 18 count Ada. It is what's provided in the kit, and I'm using that entire kit, so the entire dimensions, threads, the needle, every single thing that came with that kit I'm using. I have a whole collection of Dimensions Gold, and now that I've found that hoop and that's working really well for me, I'm quite happy that I'll be able to finally get through, because I have I don't know if I have it here. I have one lined up that I really want to stitch, but I was really struggling obviously with not being able to find a embroidery frame. So this is what I keep my samurai in. This is my Dimensions Gold. This is a book bag, so it has a little ribbon and a button so you can like seal it over at the top. And this is Nutcrackers. I bought this last year from a woman on Etsy. If you search book bag, you can find loads of them. I bought one for the retreat for my mystery bag, for whoever received my mystery bag, and it was something that reminded you of Christmas. I love Nutcrackers. Jordan thinks they're really creepy. But I bought a bag that it had blue with snowflakes and little robins all over it, because robins remind me of Christmas. So I bought that for my mystery bag at the retreat. But I pulled out this I really want to stitch. Cross Stitch with Luda had stitched this, and I seen it, and Jordan has got such a love for Japan and Japanese culture. So I'm really glad, because I have quite a few. I have this kimono, and then I have Elegant Kimono, which is a bigger dimensions kit. It's not a gold, it's just a regular dimensions. And then I also have the 2 geishas that go with the samurai. So there's the samurai that I'm stitching, and then there's May and Elegant Geisha. So I'm quite glad that I've got somebody who can appreciate the Japanese culture, because I genuinely just think that they're beautiful. So I'm quite glad that he appreciates the culture. Also, I'm stitching, or I have as a project, the Thea Governor New York, because New York is my favourite city. Jordan I showed him the Japan one the other day, and now he would really like me to stitch Japan. So we'll both have our favourite cities, country on the wall, and I think that's such a really good idea. So the plan is to stitch this as well, because when Luda did it, it didn't have very many colours in it, and it's very pretty. So the plan is to finish samurai, which he's a good chunk done. He's got a lot of half stitches as well, so the plan is to obviously get that stitched, and then that means that I can move on to another project. The project bag that I keep my little wings in is this one. So I subscribe to Fairy Loot, which is a book subscription box in America and the UK, and sometimes they produce these in the boxes. So I have, again at the other side of the sofa, so I have 3 of these. This one has little wings in it. They are absolutely huge. So I have like one of these in it, and this has got 19 colours top to bottom. It's absolutely gigantic, and it fits in there, and there's lots of space. So it is a zipped book bag. It's also waterproof, which is fantastic. It is designed to hold a entire Fairy Loot edition hardcover book, which they generally are bigger than a regular hardcover. So I've been using that for Little Wings. I also have this one, which is based on the Night Circus, and the other one that I have is one like this, but it's fabric and it has a pocket on the front. So I'm using that for my Bella Filipina Bellatrix, which I haven't showed yet. I'd completely forgot to put it in my whip braid because it was hiding under my table. So when I obviously start stitching on Bellatrix, I will show that. But the bag that she is in is stunning. So 111 stitches on Little Wings. It's getting somewhere. She's got no fancy thread. This is a Denkai Designs needle minder. It's a platform 9 3/4, which kind of goes with the Harry Potter thing I have going on apparently. That was a lot. So yeah, so all of my next projects have got quite a bit of work to them. So the next project, I'm just getting up a picture because I actually only have this on my iPad. So my next project is Miss Ladybug, which will look like this. And that is a terrible picture, but it's just from the Design and Fabric viewer, so it's not going to look great. However, I have made a good bit of progress on her. There is a loose thread, which I'm not sure why. There's no needle on it, which is fantastic. So since you last saw it, I have now added in her whole entire wing is finished, beads included. All together, I've added 400 stitches or beads, so that's a combined total to this. So the next time I pick it up, the plan is to work across and get at least her head done, if not also her top, because her top is just solid black. So realistically, that shouldn't take too long. So I've added 400 stitches to this, and I think she is looking really, really pretty. This is on a mystery piece of fabric from Sparklies. So this fabric was the April 2017 fabric. That's all the label says for this one, and I'm just using all the called for DNC and all the called for beads. There's no metallic in this one, and there is no silk, and this is just an urge. This is a number 3. I love these for my Noras because obviously it fits the entire design comfortably. There's plenty of room to move things around. This is 220 millimeters by 195, and this is perfect for Nora. And again, the tension's really, really good. I have found that obviously if you were to do cross country for Nora and you were to stitch, you know, if I started stitching up here, I might not have as good a tension as if I stitched somewhere that already had stitching next to it, because stitching adds tension. So when I'm stitching a Nora or a Mirabilia, I tend to stitch, or even like a Dimensions kit, I tend to pick a colour that is already attached to another colour that I've already stitched. So the symbol must be attached. It can't be like counting. I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to go 3 across and 2 up to get to the next colour. No, we'll stitch the one that's obviously branching in between them. And that way I find that I get less counting issues, because the last thing I want to be doing is frogging, because I have not got the patience for that. I would end up just putting the project down and not picking it back up, which ideally that's not really what I want to do. The plan is to get lots of progress. So 400 stitches / beads on Ladybug, and she's got to be at least halfway done now. So I'm quite glad I've made some good progress on her, and that, you know, she's looking more like the way that she's meant to and more completed. So I have 2 projects left, and then I also have plans and haul. So I don't have huge plans. I don't make huge plans because it's in my name. I'm distracted. I find that if I just want to do one thing, then I will limit myself to that one thing. The problem is then I get bored and I wander off. And, you know, with me having annual leave and things coming up, I do have purchases coming for my birthday, and Jordan's getting me things for my birthday, and I want to enjoy my birthday. Because normally I don't celebrate, because my birthday tends to be a little bit ignored. Not sure why. It just tends to be the way that it is, which my birthday's smack in the middle of the year. As I said, it's the 29th of June. It's great time. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It is just that perfect time in the middle of the year. So I feel like this year I'm really focusing on my birthday, because it needs to be celebrated, because we all deserve to have a good birthday. But the next project I've done, so these are my 2 bigger projects. These have both had a good amount of work done to them. So the next project I will get a picture of. Again, this is on its stand, because if I take it off the stand, the odds are it's not going back on. So I don't want to run that risk. So this is the Ranger. This is, oh, the glare on that. I apologise for the glare, and I apologise for the glare in my glasses. Just with us redoing the house, I've not found a spot where I can sit with my back to the window. So currently the window is over here, and obviously that's causing reflection. I bumped the camera, I apologise. So this is the Ranger. As I was saying, I've not found a spot in my house yet where I can film without having the window be a reflection, just because with us doing the house, my kitchen currently looks like a bomb has hit it, and the window is here. So I need to find a way to sit in my front room or in any of the rooms in this house and not have the reflection. The best place is probably going to be my bedroom, but again, I need to get in there and get that all cleaned out. So, well, not cleaned out, but I do need to paint it because my house needs desperately renovated in the sense of painting and decorating. So this is my second Velke Patoki. These are the mini stands. The first one that I got took about 10 months, and then I ordered 2 more, and they only took 3 months from ordering to me receiving that. So the processing time has sped up exponentially. So I'll put in a picture of what it looked last time so you can see where it was. And then this is where we are now. And I have decided that for some of these projects that are just huge like this, mostly they're just heads. Anything that I've got from Charting Creations, anything from the Cross Stitch Studio, I don't mind so much. Their pages are a little bit bigger than Pain Free Crafts. However, I worked for Pain Free Crafts for 2 years, and I have got an abundance of Pain Free Craft products, or charts, kits, etc. So I enjoy the fact that Sarah's pages are 5 squares by 7 squares, which means they're 3,500 stitches. It means that they're not too much work. They feel manageable. Like, I feel like I can do 3,500 stitches. I feel like I can do 35 boxes because I work, you know, picking off the first box and then running the thread, and then the next box and running the threads, and I just keep doing that until obviously I've done my 35 boxes. However, when I'm looking at a head, the pages are 8 by 10, and while that might seem manageable to some people, the 8 by 10 page really throws me off because it's so big. So I've decided that now I'm going to work my pages in 5 by 7 blocks on all my projects. So obviously I just turn off the page feature if I am using Pattern Keeper. If not, I can count to 5 and count to 7 sometimes. So I've been doing that with this. I was originally, as you can see, I was originally working the 8 by the 10, but I'm now just working the 5 by the 7, and that has meant that my page feels more manageable, and I feel like I've achieved more on this since I've cut the page down. I'm just getting up how many stitches I've done. So on the Ranger, this is a Matt Stewart. This is a retired head, and it's on 28 count, easy count, and I've done 1,094 stitches. This is just in an 8 by 8 Q-snap, which these fit perfectly in here. I do use an 11 sometimes, but if you knock the bottom, like the whole thing will go. This, I find that it takes a little bit more to knock it. So yeah, this needle minder was just a random find that I found off a woman on Facebook. So she was clearing out her stash of needle minders. So this is just a bounty. This reminds me of my nan. It also reminds me of Jordan. So I don't know about how chocolates work in America, but at Christmas time over here, you get a big box. They're called Celebrations. And in that box, there is a variety of chocolates, miniature versions of, you know, popular chocolate bars. Me and my nan have always been big Bounty fans. So Bounties are coconut covered in chocolate, and they are one of the most disputed chocolates in the United Kingdom. The amount of people that will argue on social media or in general about whether a Bounty should or should not be in the chocolate box is unbelievable. So in our house, we are huge Bounty fans. I love Bounties, and my nan loved Bounties, and Jordan, when we first started talking, like when we were going on our date at the beginning, he had said they liked Bounties, and I was like, oh, there's a green flag in your box, because I don't know many people that eat Bounties. So I have a Bounty on this because this was something that was bought by my nan. She bought me the pattern. Well, she didn't buy me the pattern. She gave me money for my birthday, and I thought, I'm going to buy something sensible with it and something I can enjoy and something I can do. So I bought myself a cross stitch pattern, and this was the summer of 2020. I bought Aragorn, the Ranger, and I'm going to end up gifting him to Jordan when he is finished. So he has had 1,094 stitches. Altogether though, he is 250,000 stitches. But I feel like once the first page is done, or the first section is done, I tend to get a bit more motivated because I want him to look like something. So I'm really impressed with the fact that I've even got this far, because I think this is the furthest I've got without giving up. So yeah, that is the Ranger. So my last project for the month is my focus piece. This is going to be my focus piece for the next 2 weeks. Possibly longer. I mean, I don't think it should take any longer, but it's me, and my thoughts wander off quite a lot. I have a hair tie. I'm going to take that off because it will really irritate me. So this project has had the most work, and this is the one I'm mostly going to be working on today. I showed this last time as well. So this is Snow Queen. This is a Mirabilia, and I am obsessed with her. However, she has been a long haul. I started her in March. At the beginning of March, I pulled her out. I'd done a tiny little bit of stitching, and I pulled her out, and I thought, great, I will get her stitched. I'll give myself a month. Now, I can stitch a Mirabilia in a month. That's fine. I stitched my Fancy Lady. I got ill in March for a week, and it really knocked me. So for a whole week in March, I didn't stitch. So I got a week into April. I finished my Fancy Lady. Didn't beat her. And I hadn't stitched the reindeer. And I went to stitch the reindeer, and it took me about 2 weeks to get back to stitching it because I put it down. Should never have done that. And this has really knocked me because I didn't realise how big the reindeer is. So I've been stitching my reindeer. So this is how much I have done. So you can actually determine that it is a reindeer now, kind of. So this is a 32 count dusk horizontal. So you have to ask for her to do it horizontally. It's from Sparkly's. Teresa Little Stitcher is using this for her garlic dragon, but she's using the vertical version. So I ordered the horizontal, so it's white at the top, blue at the bottom, pink in the middle, and I have added 1,860 stitches to this. So there's not much left to do. I've started stitching. This is the reindeer's like chest, and then I've got the leg, head, and antlers. There isn't as much left to do as my brain wants to tell me. As I'm sitting here thinking this is going to take forever, this is going to take forever. But this reindeer has been kicking my backside. He's so big. I didn't realise he was as big as he was. And I kind of lost a bit of motivation once I realised how big he was. However, I started stitching him. Sorry, I play with my hair when it's down. I started stitching him the other day, and I'm looking at him, and I love him. And the whole thing is stunning. It is so big. Like, this is completely folded over, just stitching. This is a 32 count linen as well. This is the opal version because it's Snow Queen, and I thought, why not have more sparkles? There is never too many sparkles. So I started stitching that, and hopefully I'm hoping that within the next 2 weeks I can get her finished before I go away, or before I start another Fancy Lady, because I have Fancy Ladies coming for my birthday. I have, as I've said in my previous videos, I have Queen Bee coming, which is a Mirabilia. I have Halloween Fairy, which is one of the holiday fairies from Nora Corbett. They're done by, I think it's Hoffman that does them, or Witch Elf. I think it's Hoffman. So they're the full kit ones. And then I have my winning of Autumn Queen. I have Autumn Queen coming as well, and that will be here the end of the month, beginning of July, for my birthday. So I do have a little bit of haul, and then I'm going to talk about plans. So first of all, for plans, I have, because Aragorn is coming up for that page finish, I've picked out my next 2 patterns that I'm going to work on. So firstly, I'm going to work on this one. Oh, I have a notification. This is, I will do this, and then I will just pan it up. It's Little Dreamer's Tree by Amy Stewart. So I showed this in my whip parade. I've done 900 and something stitches. Plan is to get a 5x7 block done, and that will allow me to have like my first page done. And then the next project I'm going to work on is Chessie. I struggle with Chessie because the first page is so purple, and Stitchman Darcy is stitching Chessie, which is where I first seen him, and I love his progress, but I need to get over to Chessie, because obviously with Chessie being that bright electric blue, I need to get to Chessie so that I feel like I'm getting somewhere, I feel like I'm seeing something, I feel like I'm achieving something. So they're my only plans, except I want to get a good chunk done on Samurai. I want to try and get to the bottom part of the frame so I can move the frame down, which means I need to get, I think it's the top 4 rows completely finished so that I can fit everything in the bottom half of the frame. And then I want to finish Snow Queen, which then allows me to start focusing on Ladybug and my bride. So my Mirabilia bride, Blooming Bride, which I think is Mirabilia 16 or 19. And I want to work on that and get that a good progress, because after Snow Queen I feel like I need to stitch on something that has got a variety of colours, and because she's covered in flowers, she is confetti. And I am so looking forward to this confetti. I'm looking forward to changing colours and making flowers with all the different colours, and I think that'll be so, so pretty. So on to haul. I have 5 things. I do have another one thing. I think I've got one more thing in the mail, so that'll be here for the next video. So the first thing that I got was this little needle minder that's on here. So he's a little Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the needle just sits on him really well. Like, it just sits right under his chin. I picked these up from Cross Stitch Bunny. I had to email her and ask about tracking, so I didn't receive an email. And she was like, yeah, you ordered over the bank holiday. And I was like, oh, I completely forgot, because with working hospitality, you don't get bank holidays. So Oogie Boogie came with the scissor fob, which has a Jack Skeleton on the bottom, the Oogie Boogie in the middle, which I just love him, and then these scissors, which are the Love Heart black ones. These have been a unicorn of mine. I could never find them. I didn't want to, well, I could, but I didn't want to pay a ridiculous price for them. So I found them from Lauren, and they were like £6. And I actually think she had a sale on, so they worked out to be about £5.40, which obviously no one's turning down that as a good percentage. And they are really nice. I've been using them all week and I love them. This other thing that I have is absolutely stunning. He has a little jingle bell on him, but he is a pincushion. So I bought 2 of these, and one of them is a gift. This pincushion is my favorite. It's smaller than the other one I have as the gift. The other one is a bit different to this one. I seen this one and had to have it, so I got this off a woman on Etsy. She makes them. Unfortunately, she only makes one at a time. It's not like she bulk makes them and makes about 15. So this isn't something that'll be available, but if you comment below and you want to know where this came from, I can let you know, and you can go and see what she has. So it's just a little brown like pumpkin with the little ribbons, and I love that it's got a little spool of thread and like the fake leaves and stuff, and then obviously the big pumpkin on top, and I love this. So in this I've got 2 pins. These are just random finds off Etsy. So one of them again is a pumpkin. I've had to glue this though because the stalk of the pumpkin actually came out of the pumpkin, and I've just put some Gorilla Glue on that and just secured it back in. I need to do the same with this one because, as you can see, the little bead that's meant to be up here has came down, and this is just a little whale tail, and I thought it was really pretty. And I also just keep these snag nabbits in here because, to be fair, I think Jordan's sick of me saying I've lost it again because I put them on my needle minders and then I flick them, or my hair catches, and obviously I don't want a snag nabbit being caught in Jordan's foot or in my hair, or I don't want it caught anywhere. I can sit on my hair, so that's a lot of hair to get something caught in, and I'm not really up for you know, trying to find a needle or a snag nabbit or anything like that. So I now have this pincushion, and this has got a good bit of weight to it. Like, this is a solidly based little pincushion. So hopefully once we get the house decorated and get the bedroom decorated, I can get my cross stitch in the bedroom and get all of my things together, and that means I can put my pincushion on its little like spot table where it belongs. The other 3 things that I found were random eBay purchases. So I just bid on these and then I won them. So some of these, I think 2 of these are out of print. One of them is definitely out of print. I'll start with the one that's not. So this is Mirabilia Florentina. I didn't like her. When I first started stitching Mirabilia, I didn't enjoy looking at Florentina. She wasn't something that I said to myself, oh yeah, I really want to stitch that. She wasn't one that I was drawn to. But then again, that happened with my Mermaid of the Pearls. When I first started stitching Mirabilia, didn't really enjoy Mermaid of the Pearls, and then I saw cross stitch with Luda stitch her, and I went, no, I love this. Stitched it, absolutely love her. She was a mission, and she was a mountain to climb, but she was so worth it. And I feel like that's my problem. It's not really a problem. except for my bank. But I will look at something and go, I'm not really a big fan of that. A perfect example of that is Camille in Bloom, the Mirabilia. I wasn't a fan of her when she came out. And now I look at her and I think, actually, I kind of really want to stitch her. So I think over the next couple of months, I might pick her up because I think Sarah's got her at the shop. So this is Florentina. So this is Mirabilia 138. And she is quite large. She's 192 by 295. But her materials list is slightly insane. There's a whole ton of DMC, there's 7 cabin water lilies, 2 metallics, and then she only needs 3 packets of beads, but the DMC list is quite substantial. And for my Mirabilias, I like to buy brand new skeins of thread for everything. So that's unfortunate. Silks, I do obviously keep my silks and try to reuse them wherever I can, because with my Snow Queen, it recommended to buy 2 of each of the silks. However, I'm looking at how much of the silks I've got left. I've got about a quarter of a skein each of the first skein that I've opened. And I'm nowhere near using the next one. And I've been looking through to try and see how many stitches of each colour's left. And it doesn't look like I'm going to need the other skeins. So I think from now on what I might do is just buy 1. Unless it's telling me to buy like 3. And then obviously I would buy like 2 because I don't see the point. I'm quite frugal when it comes to thread and things. So these next 2 I bought, these are, Florentina was sealed. Obviously I've opened it to have a look at it. These next 2 are sealed. Yeah, neither of them have been opened. So this is Garden Muses. This is Mirabilia number 44. This is quite an old one. I'm not sure if this is out of print. This is 1999, so it's the same age as my brother. It's 25. This one has a lot of DMC as well. However, I'm looking at that pile of beads right now, and there's beads that I know that I have in my bead storage and in my bead collections from other things, and obviously I'm trying to work down to just 1 Mirabilia at a time, or 1 Fancy Lady. So that means that I will have all my beads in storage besides the one project that I'm working on. So whenever I go to start a new Fancy Lady, so if I was to start this, all of my beads that I've had left over from previous projects would be in my bead storage, and I could just go through and have a look because they're not being used for other things. And the last one that I got, this is definitely out of print. This is Crystal Christmas. I've been looking for this forever. I love this. I have the other one. Excuse me. I have the other one to match this. So I think the other one is the angel one where it says like welcome or something underneath. I have that too. So this is Mirabilia 28. This is quite a long one. This is 400 by 212. I'm trying to see what year this is. This is the same age as me. This is 27. This is from 1997. But I think this is stunning and I love this. And these were sealed again. So quite a lot of DMC in this, and beads and metallics. And then according to this, we need 5 white whisper and then 3 of the wispy fringe, which I don't know what wispy fringe is, but I guess we'll find out when I stitch it. It's part of the fun of, I imagine it goes in the tree. I'm not sure. I find that I don't have a problem with whisper as long as I don't use it on even weave. If I use, because for I stitched the holiday fairy, the holiday elf fairy, the Christmas elf fairy, from Nora Corbett, and I really enjoyed stitching her, and she's got whisper. So I stitched her on the called for linen that came in the kit with a size 24 needle. So whenever I use whisper, I always up to a 24 needle. Normally I work with a 26, full coverage I work with a 28. But for Snow Queen, I've been working with whisper. I finished it now, but I was stitching the whisper and I really struggled, and I was using a 26, or I was using a 24 needle, but I was using it on even weave. So whenever I work with whisper now, I'm going to use linen. So my Autumn Queen that's coming at the end of the month, she has an insane amount of whisper. I think it's about 3 packets. Sorry, my neighbour's just walking past the window and they have a really rude tendency to look in. So the whisper that I'm going to use for Autumn Queen, there's 3 packets. However, I'm getting her for linen. So she should be easier to stitch, but I guess we'll wait and see. And I'm hoping that it's just the even weave that made the whisper really difficult. So I've discussed like a bit of a life update. I've discussed plans, whips, and haul. The other thing that I was going to say was when I come back and do my update next time, I will have a new project. And that is going to be a project that I'm working on as a motivator for myself. So it's going to be Grizz. I don't know if I have a picture. I shall have a quick look to see if I have a picture of Grizz. Grizz is a Haid. So this is the mock-up. He's not huge. However, he's going to be used as what I'm referring to as a weight loss project. So for every £1 that I lose on my weight loss project, I am going to stitch, I think it's 1%. I don't think it works out at 1%. I think it's because I want to lose 55 pounds of weight. So for every pound, I've divided the project up into 50 or 55, however many, I can't remember what it is. I've split it up into that many sections, and each section's about 850 stitches. So for every £1 I lose, I will stitch 850 stitches, with the plan that I will hit my weight loss goal and have a finished project at the same time and have a little bit of motivator. So I have lost a little bit of weight, so I will be putting that in my stitching next time I see you. So I'm going to go and do some stitching and edit this video and get this up as soon as I can. And I hope you all have a really good, productive, stitchy week. Thanks, guys.